All right, welcome to the first part of this little lesson on IXL reading. So if you're logged into IXL up here, your username, your password, you're going to see there's 3 tabs up here: learning, diagnostic, analytics. Diagnostic is a completely different thing. That's down in the half credits if you want to do that. Learning is what we're looking at. There's a lot of recommendations here, but we're not using those in this class. I'm giving you specific things with specific lessons. This one, we're going to go to language arts. And we're going to, over here, again on the side, you can select the grade level. I'm going to sometimes give stuff at different grade levels, not because I think you're 8th graders or 9th graders or 10th graders, but because sometimes the different levels have the skills that I want to practice. And frankly, there's not a big variation in them. So for this one, we're going to click on 11th grade, and we're going to look at determining the main idea of the passage, reading strategies A. All right. So here's the thing. If you just start reading these and answering questions, you'll probably do well. But I want to give you some tips and tricks on how this works. So once again, we want to get our SMART score to at least an 80 here. And you can see that I've done a few videos with this, so it's already up to a 60. But here's the thing. A lot of you guys were taught when you were younger, read the questions first and then look for the answer. That's not a bad technique. However, that only works for specific detail questions. And we're looking at main idea questions. So there are 3 types of questions that you can have. Main idea, which is kind of what's the whole thing say? And to really answer that, you need to understand the whole passage and what its message or its point is. Then there's specific detail questions where you can go look in a sentence and say, okay, it was, this specific thing. And then there's inference questions where they never really directly answer it, but you can read between the lines and come up with the answer. So if I were to look at this passage, windmill power, when Malawi, an agricultural country in southern Africa, long troubled by poverty, was struck by a severe famine in 2002, a widespread lack of electricity and running water hampered its recovery. So Malawi country, poverty, 22, lack of electricity, running water. To lessen his own family struggles, teenager William, I'm just going to say William because I don't want to mispronounce his name and be disrespectful, decided to build a windmill to generate power. Others doubted the viability of this idea. William didn't have the finances to buy the proper supplies for such a project. However, William persevered. His first windmill, completed when he was just 14, was largely built out of scrap metals, including an old bicycle frame and a tractor fan, and generated enough power for only 1 light bulb. But it worked. William then built a stronger windmill, which powered 4 bulbs. He went on to build several more windmills, including one for pumping water, allowing his family to use electrical appliances and to irrigate their crops. William's success garnered international attention and inspired similar projects. So my who, William, my what, built several windmills out of scrap materials. My when, in 2002, when there was a severe famine. My how was by collecting junk and keep building them until he could figure out how to build better ones. And my why was because with poverty and the famine, there was no electricity and running water. All right, so what is the main idea? The main idea is, what is this whole passage about? So when you see these answers here, they may potentially all be true. Doesn't mean they're all correct. So the main idea is, what is the entire passage about, not just a specific detail. So when you see these, ask yourself, does this apply to the whole thing or just one part of it? So William did not have the proper supplies to build a windmill, so he used scrap materials. Absolutely true. But the whole thing wasn't just about scrap materials. Many of the people of that area faced problems following a 2002 famine because they lacked electricity and running water. That is also true, but I don't know that the whole thing was about all the people. William managed to build windmills from scrap materials and generate power for his family. I feel like of all the things, that's what the whole thing was about. The whole thing was why he did it, how he did it, and the results of him doing it. So I'm going to pick this one because I feel like this one best captures the purpose of the entire package. If I go back and look at any sentence, it looks like it's referring to this, but not these. What do I need to do? Incomplete answer. Go back. Read the passage. Where's the main idea? I select that one. I hit submit. Correct. So you see, if you just read and guess, it'll take forever. But if you go in with a few things, and let me just review those. Number one, there's 3 types of questions: specific, details, inference, main idea. And these are asking for main idea. You need to have an answer that isn't just true, but covers what everything in that paragraph covers. Now, the second part of these types of questions in the reading passages is now they're going to look at a detail and ask you about that. The main idea of the passage is William managed to build windmills from scrap materials and generate power from his family. How does the detail in bold develop that main idea? So how does this detail help us understand, expand on, illuminate, build up that main idea? He went on to build several more windmills, including one for pumping water, allowing his family to use electrical appliances and to irrigate crops. So they're asking, what does this bold thing do to support that idea? It draws attention to the lack of electricity in remote villages. Yeah, but that happened a little bit more up here. It demonstrates the growing success of his windmills. Yeah, because it talked about there were more, and they started doing different things, more difficult things. It questions the usefulness of windmills on a large scale solution. No, it doesn't do that at all. So here's this interesting. We have one obviously incorrect. We have one that's true, but isn't really what this detail is doing. And then one that actually connects this detail to that idea. Boom. And so that's what you want to do while you're doing these reading, determining the main idea of the passage. So if you just look at these first, that's not a bad strategy, but you really need to understand the entire passage: who, what, why, when, where, how. And you need to ask yourself, do the options they give me, again, we're not looking for, well, that's true, that must be right, because they all may be true, or they may be completely untrue. But really ask yourself, does every part of this paragraph really seem to connect to this answer? That's what main idea is. All of this working together for this one idea. And then when you get to the second part, how does that specific detail they give me support that, connect that, build that up? So that's a strategy you want to use that should help you with this task. And as always, if you have trouble, or you get stuck, or you get 3 or 4 wrong, shoot me an email, come into office hours, or talk to me in class and let me explain it to you personally in another way, and we'll work through it.